Biohub is we're looking at how you transition a landscape. So the Biohub's a traditional farming landscape, a traditional livestock landscape, predominantly sheep. And what we're trying to do at that Biohub is demonstrate how you transition a traditional livestock farm into something which is more of a kind of ecosystem, more of a regenerative, more of a circular way of farming. And why do we want to do that? We want to do, to kind of demonstrate a more sustainable, adaptable way of managing these landscapes, but at the same time keeping sheep a key part of them. In terms of the partnership with Derek, it's really unique. It's taking someone who's been farming this landscape since 7 years old. He's 82 years old now, and he's fourth generation, so he knows these landscapes really well. But Derek, as he wants to transition, he probably doesn't have all the ecosystem knowledge, and that's where I come in. It's quite interesting, I guess, that they bringing two very different people together with two different knowledges to think about how we transition a landscape. So in terms of what Derek gets out of it is all the ecosystem benefits. For example, we started with no water features on site, no water feature at all. Now we've got 45 water features across 92 acre landscape. Well, that's really helps Derek with his sheep, because the sheep can now access water naturally across the landscape. So working with Derek is a great opportunity for me, because I really get to understand the challenges and opportunities of what Derek goes through every day in terms of his livestock management. And then it's up to me to kind of bring a bit of creativity around the ecosystem design and how we create an ecosystem that provides us all the ecosystem services as well as all the livestock management needs. When I saw this landscape, I thought this is actually a really difficult one to do. It's difficult because it is fully exposed. We're 250 metres above sea level. It's been predominantly livestock for 100 years. Therefore, it's got some challenges around the sward or the grasses on the landscape, but also around compaction. It's got some challenges around habitat. There's a lack of food element, a food production element. So there's all these kind of unique things that you could think about which you could integrate into this kind of landscape, but no one's really doing it, and no one's really doing it because it's so difficult to do. So when I saw the landscape and working with Yorkshire Water, who's a landowner, Derek, who's been the farming manager for many years, and also kind of having a food element partner, Levy, hospitality company who wants to work with us, and then thinking about how Dawson fits into that in terms of looking at sustainable textiles and so on. Bring all them them elements together, and actually it makes a fantastic project. So we're here because it's a real challenge to transition these landscapes. But if you get it right, I think there's a real opportunity to completely rethink the way we look at upland farming in the UK. These are very unique elements of this landscape. If we want cleaner water, we need better ecosystems. If we want more healthier sheep, we need them environments to be able to kind of be more complex, to provide different environments for the sheep. We also want better habitats in terms of all the little things, newts and frogs and so on. We want to create conditions for them. And if you can do all that, that has a huge effect on, firstly, the complexity of the system itself. More complexity, more efficiency, more carbon in the soil, more biodiversity, more kind of better environment for the sheep and the smaller things in the ecosystem. But it also has a massive knock-on effect to how clean our water is. So these environments, in terms of thinking about livestock management, catchment, biodiversity, carbon, food production, you can do everything in these landscapes. And unfortunately, we're not doing that on every farm, but we have to demonstrate it, to kind of show that something can happen and then build momentum from there. And that's what we've been doing for the last 4 years here. There's many different elements to the Biohub. The underpinning thing is the hydrology approach. So we've integrated approximately 45 water features at the moment. We've also integrated a multi-stacked agroforestry system where we're growing food on different layers. So for example, we grow like apples, pears, medlars, quinces. Underneath that, we grow kind of like blackcurrants. Underneath that, we grow apple mint, etc. We've also got a copy system. We've actually got one copy system in now, and we're just about to put another copy system in. The copy system produces all our carbon and nitrogen, which when we turn over into a large circular programme. Our circular programme is a vermicompost programme, so we take nitrogen and carbon, we turn it over on site and turn it into vermicompost. That feeds into the agroforestry system. We've got our kind of 14-acre wildflower meadow, particularly for lapwings and curlews. These are ground nesting birds. So what we're trying to do in a way is we're trying to stack the biological functionality of the site to get better economics. And them all things have to kind of work together in a way to create a much more adaptive ecosystem. As a farmer, we want to be making sure that we are, stacking the right kind of economics out of the system, and wool is evidently a part of kind of what we should be looking at. I want to create the best landscapes for the best livestock to produce the best wool and meat. That's the goal, and I want to be making sure we're kind of right at the forefront of that supply chain in terms of wool. So when Dawson's contacted us maybe 6 months ago now, and we started speaking about maybe using some of our wool in their supply chain and thinking about the kind of ecosystems that we're developing, that's really why I want to be working with them. We want the best price for our wool, we want the best supply chains because we want to speak about that story. And so Dawson's has brought a complete new angle to what we've been looking at, and that textiles, materials, fabrics, etc. I think the whole sector needs a change in the UK, and I think Dawson's a part of that, and we want to be part of it. In terms of my background, I'm a designer. That's really what I am, and I've ended up kind of looking at designing ecosystems, because I think this is where, in terms of supply chain, where you can have the biggest impact. If you want to innovate across a supply chain, be it from fabrics, materials, textiles, or food production, I would argue that where you want to innovate is right at the beginning of the supply chain, right at the farm gate, because if you can make them farms the most complex, ecological, producing the right kind of produce in a most sustainable, adaptive, ecological way, what is putting carbon in rather than letting carbon out, increasing the biodiversity, etc. You can have a huge amount of impact right across the supply chain. All the work I do and the large organisations I work for, for me, it's all about what we can do right at the beginning of the supply chain. How can we use good ecological design to completely transition food production systems or textile systems in a way that enables the farmer to produce more out of it, more pounds in his pocket, and develop an ecosystem which is ideal for this particular climate.